Live from the Black Women for Wellness headquarters, this is the I'm Just Saying podcast, two Black women with opinions. We are on the ground at the press conference hosted by Black Women for Wellness, where Black leaders are speaking out against the recent ICE raids and the growing military presence in our neighborhoods. Let's be clear, this is a Black issue too. Black migrants face higher rates of deportation, and our communities are no strangers to over-policing and surveillance. Today is about solidarity, action, and making it known we won't stay silent. I'm just saying.
Makes it a lot easier.
Welcome to the Black and Solidarity press conference. My name is Maisha Essex. I am the comms director at Black Women for Wellness. Today, a coalition of nearly 30 organizations are gathered to deliver a collective, united Black response to the recent ICE raids and escalating military presence in Los Angeles neighborhoods. This press conference features Black leaders, advocates, and organizers standing in solidarity with immigrant communities, making it clear this is our fight too. Data shows that Black people are disproportionately targeted by law enforcement regardless of their citizenship status. Black migrants also face deportation at drastically higher rates than any other immigrant populations, making ICE raids as much as a Black issue as a Latino one. These raids are rooted in the same tactics of violence, surveillance, displacement, racism, and over-policing that have historically targeted Black communities. LA is home to Angelenos from the Caribbean, Africa, North and South America, Europe, and more. Today, many people are living in fear of deportation. Parents are afraid to attend graduations. Workers are disappearing, and entire neighborhoods are being traumatized. And now the military presence in our streets has escalated that fear into crisis. Our speakers today will issue a public call to action rooted in Black solidarity and offer clear, tangible next steps that Black communities can take in response. Because if they can do it to one of us, they can do it to all of us. Next, I'd like to welcome Reverend McKenzie, who will lead us in a moment of reflection.
In the country of my birth, but this is how we greet one another. Sahubona, which means literally, I see you. So I will say Sahubona, then you respond Yebo, which means yes. So we both affirm our humanity that we share in this journey of life. Amen? My brother Calvin, could you just come and hold my hand? Ubuntu.
Amen.
Is about journeying together. Sahubona.
Yebo.
I see you. And I am grateful that you see me too. It is better to be seen than to be viewed. Don't come to view me. I want to see you. When our feet are on the ground of Mother Earth and we're looking at each other's eyes and we realize that we are our ancestors' wildest dreams.
Yes.
That those who have gone before has struggled, has shown resilience, perseverance. They have survived the Middle Passage, and they have passed the baton.
Yes.
Aluta
Continue.
continua. The struggle continues with us and in us and through us. We gather here today under the canopy of the divine because the divine is a God whichever faith tradition we have, we serve a God of journey. That God calls us to be a fellow traveler. That we are traveling in this season and for this reason. That no time in our lives, my brothers and sisters, have we come to a more powerful intersection of history, of faith, and of the present moment. That we want to say to our children and the generations yet unborn, I was there. I was a voice for the voiceless, and I was a hope for the hopeless. For those of us from the Christian tradition, we know that Jesus was an immigrant. As a young child traveling to Egypt for safety, for security, for sustenance, it is behoved on us to welcome the stranger in our midst. It is behoved on us to know that none of us is an immigrant in the economy of God.
Yes. Yes.
All of us are God's children. No Jew, no Gentile. No male, no female. No slave, no free. That we are all united in one common purpose. How do we respect the dignity of every human being? Because each of us, no matter our race, our gender, our bank account, our zip code, where we were born, what we are wearing, all of us are children of God.
Yes.
And it is the God who has brought us here. My brothers and sisters, I can tell you as a South African, I feel right now that this is a deja vu moment. I feel like I have left South Africa and I have come to MAGA, make apartheid great again. That I am in a position and a situation where they're going to ask me for my papers. In a situation and a position where they look at me and just because of what they think they see, they judge me, they blame me, they shame me. And then they have the gall with white Christian supremacy to make a theological justification for injustice.
My Lord. My Lord. Allah.
We have been there.
Yes.
They have done this before. It is just in the same playbook. My brothers and sisters, we are on a journey, I tell you. And this journey, we confront how? Together. That there is strength in unity.
Yes.
And that is why apartheid was able to survive. Because what they did is they said, let's disunite them. Let's make them fight against each other. So they don't see that we are giving the weapons of mass destruction. And we are not letting them see what we are really doing. My brothers and sisters, I can preach. You know I'm a preacher. Ubuntu. I'm going to teach you another African word, Ubuntu.
Yes.
Say it with me.
Ubuntu.
No one is an island. Doesn't exist. No one. You cannot be human on your own. Apartheid would never have been destroyed were it not for the worldwide support that we had. We needed you. And you were there when we needed you. Our brothers and sisters in Gaza, They need us.
Yes, yes.
Like we had a Kairos document. The people in Gaza have also written their Kairos document. For a moment such as this, my brothers and sisters, please, let us gather together. The greatest threat is Christian white supremacy, where they take the Bible and take theological justification for our oppression and our demise. That we must make sure that our responsibility for sacred resistance never stops, because the church is also complicit in some of this. Right. We have to keep communities of faith accountable and their leadership for that. Let us carry the torch. Let us keep the faith. We are not just black women for wellness. We are God's people for wellness. That we are here. Now, the struggle does what?
Continue.
Amen.
All right.
What happens when you give a minister the mic and tell them 2 minutes? Woo! Okay.
Next, we'd like to welcome our first speaker, Nana Jumfrey, the Executive Director of Black Alliance for Just Immigration, also known as BAJI.
Lord, I don't know if we can lower this, but it feels like it's about to fall. We okay? All right, thank you. Good morning. Oh, we can do better than that. Good morning. Good morning. Power. Transformation. And miracles. We want it. We need it. We got to have it. Right now. My name is Nana Jumfrey, and I am the Executive Director of the Black Alliance for Just Immigration, pronouns she, her, Wonu in the Tree language of Ghana, where my parents come from. I was born here in the United States to Ghanaian immigrants, and I'm pleased to be here with Maraki, our LA organizer, as well as other members of BAJI here with us, including our co-founder who was up earlier, Reverend Calvin Sauls. BAJI fights for the rights of Black migrants and African Americans through organizing, through legal and policy advocacy, through research, community power building, civic engagement, and narrative shifting to improve the conditions of Black communities by advancing racial justice and migrant rights. The battle being fought right now, the invasion of our communities by ICE, by federal agents, with LAPD, the LA Sheriff's Department, and CHP playing pips, playing the background singers and dancers to this violence against our community. This is a Black fight. This is a fight that we cannot sit out. This is a fight that we cannot avoid. Don't you smell the sulfur? The fire is right under us. We are in the fire, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And we are the ones, Black people, regardless of citizenship, who must define what resilience and resistance looks like in this moment, both in solidarity and in basic self-interest. Because the first human beings who migrated, allowing there to be people all over this planet, were Black people. We defined migration as a normal human activity and as a right. When we look specifically at the migration of our African American siblings, and we look at the crossing borders and their ability to cross borders as refuge, we must remember it wasn't enough to go north in the time of enslavement. You had to cross the border into Canada. You had to cross the border into Mexico. And Canada and Mexico took Black people from this country in when they fled enslavement. We must remember Josephine Baker, Nina Simone, James Baldwin, and so many other African Americans who left, escaping the political violence, the social violence, the physical violence of Jim Crow and segregation, to go to places like France, to go to places like the Caribbean, crossing borders and being accepted and allowed to prosper in other countries. We must remember our political prisoners who fled from jails and prisons all over this country, fighting for Black liberation, who found refuge in Cuba, who found refuge in Algeria, who found refuge in Ghana, who found refuge in Tanzania. Was that not the crossing of borders for refuge? We must remember folks from W.E.B. Du Bois all the way down to people that I see right in this room right now, heading to Ghana, moving to South Africa, getting a place in the Caribbean, trying to figure out how to get out of this sulfur place right now. Anywhere. Do you want the door slammed on you? Do you want masked men jumping out of cars to grab on you? Do you want to have no place for refuge? That is what we are experiencing right now as Black migrants and as other immigrants in this country and in this city, in this county, and in this state. When we think of Black immigrants in Los Angeles, we must remember 1 out of every 5 Black people in LA is a Black immigrant, either born outside the country or a child of Black immigrants such as myself and Monica. 1 out of every 5. There is no Earl's Grill without the Trinidadian mama. There is no marathon without Nipsey Hussle's daddy. Right? We know we are eating Jamaican patty and we are happy. We are taking African dance class in Leimert Park. How are we doing all of this without Black immigrants? Shake your hair if it got braided by a Black immigrant. We are part and parcel of this community. You cannot terrorize a fifth of this community, 20% of this community, and think that it's not Black people's fight. You're deluding yourselves. You're bamboozled, you're hoodwinked. As our Black immigrant brother, child of Sister Louise, Malcolm X taught us, right? What we see happening with enforcement right now is just the tip of the spear of what is going to be happening with everyone. It is an expansion of the police state by surveillance. It is a normalization of disappearing and kidnapping. It is a normalization of sending people to prisons all over the world. It is a normalization of that is set up for us Black people, regardless of citizenship. And so this is the time to stand together in solidarity and in self-interest. Will you join us? Are you there? Freedom now. Freedom now. Freedom now. Thank you.
Next up, I'd like to welcome Baba Akili, Director of the Fannie Lou Hamer Institute, and also representing Black Lives Matter Los Angeles.
I'm going to read very quickly a statement from Black Lives Matter's grassroots, which is Black Lives Matters. It was issued February 10th. So we came out early on this. On February 10th, Black Lives Matter's grassroots released our statement opposing Trump's planned ICE raids. With the racist raids now in full swing, let us be clear. Abolishing ICE must be part of the Black liberation agenda. The blatant attacks on the migrant community are absolutely a Black issue. We assert these positions both on a moral and strategic grounds. We are under attack. Black people are under attack. Minute by minute, we are being erased. Our presence, our contributions, contributions to this society is being erased. Lesbian, gay, and transgender people are being erased. Our immigrant brothers and sisters, our African, Caribbean, Asian, and certainly our Latino sisters and brothers are being erased, are under attack. Common sense is being attacked in this country. You can't even ask a question about the war in Gaza without being attacked and called an anti-Semitic. We are under attack. And when you are under attack, you got a choice. You can stand up and fight back, or you can accept it. We are saying stand up and fight back. This is because the attack is broad and deep. If it were just one of us, maybe you could stand back. But there is an African proverb, and many of y'all know it. It says, if you see a crow eating your neighbor's corn, shoo it away. For tomorrow it will be eating your corn. And look here, the crow doesn't care if you don't like your neighbor. The crow doesn't care if you don't support your neighbor. The crow eats corn, and it will eat corn. This fascist and white supremacist administration is attacking all of us across the board. And so we have to be prepared, first, to stand up and fight back. Second, to be in support and solidarity. And then finally, we got to find some crow catchers. We got to be able to shoo the crows away. We got to be able to say, you can't eat that corn here. We got to be able to find some people who got sticks and brooms to make sure that they keep the crow out of the cornfields. But remember, that crow doesn't care. It's a corn eater. So it doesn't matter if it's your corn or my corn. It's going to eat it. And that's the thing about fascism and white supremacy. It doesn't care. We have enlisted and supported and being willing to accept a white supremacist and a fascist in the White House. And I'm going to say his name, Donald Trump. And so with that, the last statement in this position that we put out, it calls for three things. Three very simple things that all of us can do. Resist, resist, resist. So I'm going to ask you now to join me in solidarity with people who want what you want, a better way of life for themselves and their family. Thank you all. Stand in solidarity. And thank you, Dan, for bringing us together. Thank you for your vision. Thank you for your commitment. And thank you for your strength. Thank you all.
Our next speaker, I'd like to introduce Torrance Brandon Reese, the founder and CEO of Family and the Malcolm X Legacy Project.
All right, so.
All power to the people.
All right.
I'm going to do something I don't usually do. I'm going to read so I can stay on time.
Unlike some
Thank,
of us.
Thank you, Jan, and your beautiful organization. Give yourselves a round of applause for being involved in revolution. Keep on pushing the power of the people to change the world. There's always been a force more powerful than politics, more unshakable than the military, more visionary than any one leader. The power is the people, especially when united, organized, and unwavering in pursuit of justice. We're standing in that moment again, a moment where truth is on trial, diversity is under attack, and Black dignity is being gaslit by those who praise tyrants and erase our contributions to democracy. But if history has taught us anything, it's this. When the people push, we make nations move. From the ashes of oppression, we've always built. Ida B. Wells, journalist, abolitionist, and freedom fighter, refused to remain silent after her friends were lynched by white mobs in Memphis, Tennessee. Rather than cower, she launched a national anti-lynching campaign and moved north, catalyzing an exodus of black folks in capital from the South. That too was a boycott, a moral withdrawal, a refusal to support a system rooted in terror. Fast forward to 1955. Rosa Parks sat down so we could stand up. For over a year, black residents in Montgomery, Alabama boycotted the city's buses, organized carpools, and walked miles. That economic resistance broke segregation's back and sparked a global civil rights movement. We must remember that Montgomery bus boycott wasn't just a protest. It was a demonstration of economic self-determination. So while the Negro baseball leagues formed when black athletes were locked out of white institutions in Mound Bayou, Mississippi, a black township, Greenwood or Tulsa, Oklahoma, we built our own banks, our own schools, our own businesses. They weren't just alternative economies. They were acts of defiance, of brilliance, and of cultural sovereignty. The Harlem Renaissance and the Black Arts Movement turned poetry into protest, jazz into liberation. James Baldwin, Lorraine Hansberry, Nina Simone, Amiri Baraka, they taught us that art is armor. Meanwhile, the Black Power and Civil Rights movements laid down strategies of direct action, coalition building, and uncompromising pride. Today, that same spirit lives on through movements like No Kings, a nationwide protest that eclipsed Trump's failed military parade and birthday charade that this past weekend. On that day, cities across and states across this country stood together. Black, brown, Asian, Native, queer, disabled, immigrant, poor, and working class people. They said we will not bow to authoritarianism. Our resistance must now escalate. We are calling for a national boycott and work stoppage inspired by the world's most effective uprisings, from South African apartheid divestments to India's farmer strikes, from France's yellow vest shutdowns to the Montgomery legacy we inherited. We target companies and states complicit in dismantling DEI, criminalizing black history, and normalizing white supremacy. So we call out their names: Walmart, Chick-fil-A, Sinclair Media, My Pillow. We name names, we direct our dollars, and we unify purpose. This is more than a strategy, it's a spiritual reckoning, a declaration that we are not afraid, that our love for freedom is stronger than their grip on power. We must forge powerful racial coalitions. Black, indigenous, Latinx, Asian, and white allies of conscience. Our struggle is intertwined. When Trump attacks immigrants, LGBTQ, poor, women's rights, he's attacking all of us. Solidarity is not charity, it's survival. Let us remember, no politician, army, or billionaire can stop the will of the people. From Harriet Tubman to Fannie Lou Hamer, from Baldwin, Paul Robeson to Malcolm and Winnie Mandela, we have always been more than victims. We are visionaries, builders, fighters. So we say, to this moment, we're still here, we're still rising. And like Curtis Mayfield said, we will keep on pushing until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. We will get our freedom by any means necessary. Thank you. Love, peace, and soul.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Elise Hennessy, the co-executive director of strategy and sustainability at Cadre.
Hello. Hello. I'm Elise Hennessy with Cadre, Community Asset Development Redefining Education, a South LA-based parent justice organization led by Black and brown families organizing for South LA parent power through educational and racial justice. Cadre parents don't just respond to crisis. They read the pattern and combat the root cause. What we see today is painfully familiar. The ICE raids, sanctioned kidnappings, this military-style presence, these tactics meant to intimidate and destabilize communities, they follow a blueprint long drafted and field tested in our Black neighborhoods, on our people. From the Fugitive Slave Act and its slave catchers to modern day racial profiling by way of police gang databases and predictive policing algorithms. The tools evolve, but the targets remain the same. We are here because when the same tactics show up, masked agents, military patrols, the silence after someone disappears, we must read the board, recognize we've seen this play before, and choose now to move strategically. Though, let me be clear, our presence is not performative or reactionary. We are not lending our voices or sending thoughts and prayers. We are asserting our power and moving in solidarity. We know these tactics because we have lived them, and because of that, we know how to lead through them. In South LA, parents have learned painfully, repeatedly, that systems of oppression don't stop where they start. That what is first used elsewhere is often refined and returned, more brutal, more normalized, and more difficult to undo. So Cadre parent leaders stand rooted in a truth we've never had the luxury to forget. That Black people have always been and remain at the heart of the struggle to have our humanity recognized, our rights protected, and our freedom fulfilled. To our Black families and documented communities, this is not a call to morality, pity, or panic. It's a call to position and power, and to further dismantle white supremacy and anti-Blackness. Cadre South LA parent leaders remain committed not just to defense, but to strategy. We organize to protect our people, and we dismantle systems that harm us with coordinated action. To our immigrant, Latine, and brown siblings, especially in this moment of heightened targeting, we echo the call from Cadre's Solidarity Statement. Stand with Black communities, not only when our struggle aligns, but as a lasting commitment to shared liberation. This moment demands courage to confront anti-Blackness and white supremacy at all times, to reject zero-sum thinking, and to choose the hard but necessary path of repair. We call on you to join us. Thank you.
Next, we'd like to welcome Vanessa Aramayo, the CEO and President of Alliance for a Better Community, also known as ABC.
Good morning. Buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
My name is Vanessa Aramayo, and I have the honor of being the CEO and President at Alliance for a Better Community. Our mission is to advance social, economic, racial equity, and justice for the Latino community and the broader Los Angeles region. I want to start by thanking Jan for her leadership in Black Women for Wellness. Can we give them a round of applause, please? Thank you for your work, and thank you for the invitation of being here in community with you today. I want to call out, we all know that what we're experiencing in Los Angeles is not normal. The recent immigrant raids are not isolated as incidents. We know that they are targeted, violent actions rooted in white supremacy, criminalization, and anti-Blackness. One by one, Angelenos are being taken from their homes, ripped from job sites, taken in from churches, taken by while dropping off their kids at school with no warning, no explanation, no access to due process, no justice. These raids are terrorizing our communities. They are tearing families apart, and they spread fear that ripples across neighborhoods, across our schools, our workplaces, and our churches. There are clear lines in the struggles between Black and immigrant communities. Whether through ICE raids, over-policing, or mass incarcerations, our communities are often, too often, treated as threats instead of people with dignity, dreams, and deeps that are rooted in this country. We know that an attack on one of us, I'll say it again, is an attack on all of us. Now is the time to begin healing between our Black and Latino communities. We must become authentically united in order to seek the solidarity and to have the solidarity that our communities deserve. White supremacy seeks to continue to divide and conquer our resources, to steal our land, to exploit our labor and our talents for its own benefits. Unity, unidad, es como vamos a mejorar la raza, is how we will improve our human race. Our Black cousins and friends have always stood beside us in the fight for civil rights, and they are standing beside us now, even as their communities are under attack. We know that when we heal, our communities stand together. We become a force that is unstoppable, a force that will be reckoned with against oppression and racism. Unity is how we will better this human race. I want to talk just a little bit about the solidarity that we've seen and that we've continued to uplift. From the civil rights movement to the immigrant rights marches in 2006 to today's mutual aid that we see in the rapid response networks of our communities. We have a long history of showing up for one another. Give yourselves an applause for the work that you're doing now. I know, and you know, that we stand on the shoulders of organizers, of elders, of our young people who are teaching us and have taught us that through liberation, we will collectively succeed. Today, that legacy lives on in the work of organizations that are building power across our communities and fighting for systemic change. Organizations like Community Coalition, who's here, COFAM, the Black Power Network, Inner City Struggle, We Are California, CHIRLA, Scope LA, Diversity Leadership Institute, BAJI, the Dolores Huerta Foundation, COPE, ABC. We are already working to improve K-12 education and expand college access, to increase voter education and mobilization. There will be a reckoning next November. Let's not forget about that. Ensuring that our communities are informed and that they are civically engaged. We call to demand right now an end to these inhumane raids. To continue to peacefully protest as we have been doing, to reclaim our streets and to bring joy back and safety back into our streets. We're not here out of charity. We are here out of commitment. We know that the freedom of Black people, of immigrants, of all oppressed people is bound together, and we will not rest until we are all free. Thank you.
Next, we'd like to welcome Angelica Salas, the Executive Director of CHIRLA.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here joined with Seriun Yilma, our Managing Director, and Vlad Carrasco, who's our Director of Climate Justice. And it is for me, it's such an honor to lead with these two men and so many others who make up our leadership team. So I also just want to say that it brings so much joy, and I see so much love as I stand behind the names and the representation of all the organizations here who put this press conference and gathering together. So from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you. I want to begin by speaking of Frederick Douglass's messages. Frederick Douglass believed that the United States should welcome immigrants from all over the world. He argued that the country should be a composite nation. And what he meant by that is that it would then embrace diversity, included all people, regardless of race, ethnicity, or religion, and build a foundation for a multiracial society. Those were Frederick Douglass's words. See, the attack on immigrants right now is an attack on all people of color, one that we're very familiar with in this country. We have the unfortunate history of racism, of deep-rooted racism. And here it is at our doorstep once again. So let's be clear. Trump's federal immigration force is kidnapping our people. One by one, Angelenos have been pulled from their homes. They have been ripped from their job sites, taken away in front of their children, arrested in their churches with no warning, no explanation, and no justice. So you see, this isn't immigration enforcement. It is an assault on American values. And like Vanessa said, if it can happen in Los Angeles, it can happen anywhere and to anyone. Once people are detained, families and attorneys cannot get in touch with them. Of the over 500 people that we've been in contact with, we know that they have been taken in Los Angeles in the last 19 days. We have actually been only able to manage to communicate with a very small percentage. Why is that? Because they have closed lawyer access. There are moving people from California to Texas, Arizona, Washington State. And now with the Supreme Court decision, they can move them to another country. Due process is a constitutional right guaranteed in this country. Justice is a cornerstone of democracy. But today, these fundamental rights are under attack. And immigrants, especially Black and brown immigrants, are being denied due process. And those standing up to defend our democracy were being punished for it. And the antagonism hasn't been limited to undocumented immigrants. We're hearing story after story of citizens and legal residents who are being stopped, searched, and violently tackled by immigration enforcement agents solely for the color of their skin and for exercising their constitutional rights. Racial profiling is at the core of these attacks. The aggression, coupled with increased militarization on our streets, has swept over our communities. And what communities are those? Those are Black and brown neighborhoods. It is our neighborhoods where we see tanks running down, roving down our streets. We're the ones who have to see these federal agents armed to the teeth. Classrooms are sitting empty. Businesses are being forced to shutter early or close down. Families are skipping medical appointments. And this doesn't just harm immigrants, it destabilizes entire communities. Our local economy is suffering, public safety is compromised, and all of us are less secure. And the threats are only growing as we face a federal administration that has promised more raids, more fear, more cruelty, and more chaos. We need to end the cruelty now, and we need a restoration of justice. So CHIRLA has always fought for over 40 years for a just society fully inclusive of immigrants. And when we say a just society, we mean a just society for all of us, where we are all free. And we want to be included in that freedom. Even as we face threats and escalating attacks, we continue to show up for our community, providing services that people need. We are clear the attack is not just on us. They started with the erasure of Black excellence through the erasure of DEI. And yeah, we were being attacked with a letter from Senator Hawley saying that we are responsible for lawlessness, mayhem, and everything else. But we're not the only ones that are being attacked. BAJI, NAACP, they received another letter that we too are part of. Over 200 organizations received a letter saying that we are responsible for all sorts of insane attack, like all sorts of illegal actions, all which are so untrue. But I just want you to know the attacks are on all of us. So yeah, we launched a rapid response hotline, giving our families a trusted place to call if loved ones are swept up in a raid. We continue to host Know Your Rights trainings for individuals and businesses, processing DACA renewals. We're still moving forward on citizenship applications because the work does not stop. So now more than ever, we need our broader community to stand with us, to affirm our long-established record of service, and to push back against a targeted campaign to silence us, and for us to defending our core rights. So in these days, I just want to end with gratitude. In these days when things have been so bleak and dangerous, here in Los Angeles and in my very own hometown in Pasadena, where already 2 raids have happened, who has walked and journeyed with us and with me? It's been Black pastors in this gathering. It's been the NAACP. It's been BAJI. It's been so many Black leaders. Because Black Americans understand, they are clear that these attacks have a foundation on white nationalism and white supremacy. When I look at who supports us, every single poll shows African Americans at 80% or above in support of immigrants and against these attacks. As Latinos, we also owe reciprocity. And we all have to understand that we have to do away with the poison of anti-Blackness. And join in solidarity to transform our nation into that beautiful multiracial democracy. That multiracial democracy that will uplift us all. Because together, we're not intimidated. Together, we will not be silenced. And together, we will win for our families and our community. Thank you so very much. Un mensaje nomás a mi comunidad latina en español. Yo lo que les quiero decir es de que si vamos a poder sobrevivir a este momento tan cruel, un momento donde nos están atacando, nos están quitando a nuestros hermanos, a nuestros padres, a nuestros hijos, a nuestras hermanas, nos están destruyendo a nuestra familia. Si nosotros vamos a sobrevivir a este momento, tenemos que aprender de nuestros hermanos negros de este país. Tenemos que entender y enseñarnos cómo esta comunidad ha luchado en solidaridad, pero también asegurando que se destruya toda la supremacía blanca de este país. Si vamos a ganar para nuestras familias, tenemos que ganar con ellos, por ellos y con ellos, porque este país se tiene que transformar donde todos vivamos libres, donde una comunidad no gane, sino donde todos podamos salir adelante y conformar una democracia multirracial donde los latinos, los inmigrantes, la comunidad negra, asiática, a toda la gente pueda tener su libertad en este país. Muchas gracias.
Our next director at the California Black Power Network.
Good morning. As Maisha said, I'm Kevin, Associate Director, co-founder of the California Black Power Network. We're a coalition of 46 Black-led and empowering grassroots organizations across the state of California that include folks like Black Women for Wellness, BAJI, Community Coalition, SCOPE, Labor Strategy Center, SoCal Black Worker Hub, LA Black Worker Center. We're in the building today, and we're in our power with our folks and with our allies. We're here to stand today with our immigrant family members and also recognize the attacks happening have direct and specific implications for us as Black people and for all of us who fight for freedom and justice. As Angelica mentioned, over 200 groups are currently being targeted by this government in an attempt to silence those who seek freedom and justice. And that includes Black-led organizations and many of our non-Black allies who have been standing in solidarity with us, helping advance the fight for Black reparations. So solidarity has always been a part of our movement and always will. If you make it black and white, you're feeding into white supremacy. If you're calling for division right now, you are feeding into white supremacy. We stand today with our Black migrant loved ones who have often been erased and marginalized in this conversation, but we know that Black migrants have to face the intersection of both race and nationality. That makes them more vulnerable to state violence and deportation, and have been directly targeted through the travel ban, which nearly exclusively targets Black majority countries from Africa and the Caribbean. We know that this attack on immigrant communities is really a vehicle to drive white supremacy. They don't want to make America great again. They want to try to make it white. Let's be clear about this. This is about white supremacy. And again, if we feed into the divide and conquer, we let them win. We stand with our migrant family, not because they're hard workers or taxpayers, which is certainly true, but we stand with them because they are our neighbors, our friends, our family members, and critical, beautiful threads that make up this beautiful tapestry of Black LA, of Black California, and Black America. They have and will always be a part of our culture and our fight for justice. What is hip hop without Who Hurt and Biggie Smalls and Nipsey Hussle? What's our fight for freedom without Marcus Garvey, without Malcolm X, without Kwame Ture? Again, if you let them divide us, you are feeding into white supremacy, and I hope you hear me. Don't let them fool you with the lies that seek to divide and conquer. As Black people, we know what those lies are about. We know what it's like to be told you're here to steal something in our neighborhood, in our community. We know that lie. If you feed into it, you feed into white supremacy. Immigrants aren't here to steal our jobs. You go to the grocery store, you know who's stealing your job. It's a machine. Our jobs are being shipped overseas as they look for cheaper workforces. Greedy business owners and corporate overlords love to see us fight over who can be the cheapest labor force. This is a race to the bottom, and there are no winners. They win when we fight over crumbs. Instead, we need to come together to fight for the pie. Better yet, we need to come together and fight for the kitchen. And that only happens when we do it together. We're here because we know that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We know that if some of us are not free, none of us are free. If they can strip the right to due process for some, they can do it to all of us. If they can strip birthright citizenship for some of us, they can do it to all of us. And we know that was something we created. We can't sit by and let them erode the rights that we fought for. If they can kidnap and disappear some of us, they can do it to all of us. And we know that that is the plan. When they talk about homegrowns are next, who do you think they're talking about? They're talking about us. Again, if you fall into the divide and conquer, you're feeding into white supremacy tactics and talking points. Cut it. If they can criminalize some of us to justify exploitation and exclusion and violence, they can do it to all of us. And as Black people, we know this because along with our indigenous siblings, we were the first to experience this and have never not experienced this. The tools and tactics they use to demonize and control and suppress our communities have been turned on others throughout history. Japanese American communities, and we see it right now with our immigrant communities now. And we are seeing that again and again and again, and we know that as they refine and scale and coordinate in this moment, it will come back to us bigger, stronger, and more violent. We have to stop this machine. As Black people, we know what it means to be criminalized and told we don't belong and denied due process and be disappeared and face state violence. In fact, we've been screaming about this for centuries. Now, I know there are many who are frustrated because those warnings have often gone dismissed or ignored. And some of us are tired of feeling like we are the saviors of democracy and justice, but we do not have the privilege of sitting back and doing nothing, even if it's just for ourselves. Because again, this is not just an anti-immigrant attack, this is white supremacy in action. And it will pick off who it feels is most vulnerable and then come for you next. We must act now, and we call for an end of the siege on LA and communities across the state and the country. We call for an end to the racist, anti-Black, and anti-Muslim travel ban, and we call for the restoration of due process and rights for all in this country. We know how we are treated when we hit the streets. So Black folks, if we do, let's do it together and with our non-Black allies, because we, again, are stronger together. But for those of you who don't want to hit the streets, you have a voice and you have power. Talk to your friends, your families, your neighborhoods, your congregations, your coworkers. Post online. Call your elected representatives. Donate to groups who are on the front lines. We have a responsibility and we have the power. We must act now. Thank you.
Wait a minute, I don't know if I can bring it home after that because Kevin was speaking of power. I don't know. I'm gonna say this, right? This morning on my way here, I got a call that LAPD was all up in this neighborhood. And LAPD went in one of these houses right here and snatched 2 people, right? And that is, to me, like a vivid example of how all this law enforcement is one arm, several hands. You got LAPD, you got Homeland Security, you got ICE, you got FBI, you name it. And we have to fight with it and deal with it in our neighborhood. And I appreciate what Kevin just said when he said, they pick off the weakest one and then they come for you, right? So what I want to do is give you all that illustration of what solidarity looks like. So can all my speakers come up here? So all of the folks who are actually writing a love letter to the Black community, right? We know that I have been seeing online 92% of Black women voted for the other person. But we know that democracy demands more than simply voting. It is active engagement. We know it is active engagement because when we look at the history, someone up here talked about the Fugitive Slave Act, right? That's what we have going on now. We have armed, masked, aggressive white men coming in our community and snatching people. They used to do that with Black folks. They didn't care if you were free or not free. They would just sell you south, right? And at that point, we had to figure out what clubs, what organizations that we pulled together to mass move folks around this country, right? So, like Kevin said, this is a call to action. It is not a press conference for feel good. It is a press conference because we need a call to action that we can't rest on. We voted. We have to do something more. And first thing we need to do more, right, is get organized. If you are not in an organization, join one. It does not have to be Black Women for Wellness. As you see here, there are a lot of organizations that you can join, because you do not want to be isolated. When you isolate yourself, when you are not part of something, you're one of the weak ones that can get picked off, right? So organize. I know a lot of us right now are feeling very leery of government and organizations. Today, we deliberately invited our grassroots, community-based organizations and not political leadership, right? But when we get together, we're gonna have to hold that political leadership accountable and responsible for us, especially if they look like us, okay? So I don't care if you voted for them or not, they have a job when they took that office, we have to hold them accountable. But to do that, we gotta be organized, right? So join your organization. If you can't join an organization, I don't see a reason why you cannot. Get your political education group happening. There are so many medias out here nowadays, you don't know who to trust. You don't know which information is verified. So be part of a political education group. Read a book. No. All of this is in history, right? We talked about the Fugitive Act. That's in history. Yesterday, we were talking about the people in Argentina. The grandmothers wore scarves holding pictures of the people who have been disappeared, right? And then in Argentina, they used the World Cup to cover up the coup that had happened in that government, right? We know we have World Cup coming here,
right now.
right?
You can't keep playing like that ain't happening. Latinos are pushing us out of our community.
All righty. So, okay. Now, when we have a press conference, then this is when we fight among ourselves, that gives them more power. So let us not do that.
Never be divided. The people united will 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 never be divided.
The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. The people united will never be divided. If I get a chance to get my stuff, they can't do that if they make a lot of money. Can they do that when they're making money?
We should say reparations now! 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 Reparations now!
Okay.
Talk to you. Reparations now!
I want to give you a...
Okay. We gonna sing a song. Okay. Can you all hear me? Okay. We're gonna keep it moving.
Wade in the water, children. In the water. God's gonna trouble. Well, let me sing.
Okay.
Wade in the water. Sing it, y'all. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. Sing! God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water. Ida B. Wells. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. For Lason Hughes. Wade in the water. Sing it, y'all. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. For Tupac. Wade in the water. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. For Geronimo. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. For the Black Panthers. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
Yes. Thank you. I'm glad everyone is here and we're all together as allies.
But I'm letting you know that this is a direct result of benign delay. A lot of us are sleeping on the ground, homeless right now. And you come in and we accept everyone, but our elected officials have failed us. Just like Ms. Robinson was saying, we got to hold people accountable, okay? Mark Ridley Thomas and Marquise Dawson and Nancy Martinez, they created a plan called Reimagine LA. I need for all of y'all to look at Reimagine LA and Measure G. Ma'am, this all about love here.
Who are you?
My name is Rochelle Callis, and I'm a mother whose children need a job right now. That EDD, ma'am, is closed. Everybody here, we all need jobs. We have families, don't we? We are from the Crenshaw community, and we want unemployment. My name is Rochelle Callis.
How old are your children?
And my children are 17 years old. They are transitional age youth, and they cannot find a job. They are
Can
seniors
they
in
come
high
here for a
school.
job?
Ma'am, not just my babies, the whole community, all these beautiful
But you
faces
wanna
here.
stand somewhere, right?
We are together, y'all. I'm telling
You
y'all.
wanna
We
start
love
somewhere?
everybody, yes.
Okay.
We're also demanding business development. We need for permits for our vendors. We need for y'all to come together to help us, and then we can all do it. We need that EDD department on 54th and Crenshaw. I'm telling y'all, that's contributing to the homeless crisis.
Okay.
It's difficult for us to help anybody if we can't help ourselves. Give me a hug, Miss Robinson. I love you and thank you for having this space, okay? We're gonna do it together, okay?
Let's stop crashing my shit. Stop crashing my shit.
I'm not crashing. I was trying to calm them down. You said question and answers. That's what I was trying to do, calm the thing. Be calm, okay? We all together in this.
All righty. Now, there are some things that we can do, and I'm going to finish out my list of things you can do, right? So, number one, you can organize. Number two, you can join an organization, right? Number three, you can support a protester. How do you support a protester if you don't want to go to the protest? Water, food, childcare, that type of thing. Can you hear me some more? All righty. Okay. What other you can do is one of the things that we had talked about when we have dissent in our community. We can have a calm conversation, but we can't have a heated conversation where folks are not listening. This needs to be an inclusive movement. But inclusive doesn't mean I listen to you and you don't listen to me, right? So that is some of the things that we can do in terms of how do we move forward from this point now. We can't afford to let us Los Angeles be occupied. We can't afford the dissent. We can't afford not to listen to each other and acknowledge what is going on with each other. So let's keep that in mind as we move forward, that the war is not with each other. The war is with fascism. The war is with authoritarianism. The war is with that white supremacy that we refuse to acknowledge how it influences our everyday actions. So in your press packet or in the packet, we have a list of about 80 organizations that you can join. 80 organizations that you can support. And with that, that is how we begin to build unity, how we begin to build conversation, how we begin to build a critical analysis with each other. The other thing I want to say is it is extremely important right now that we do mutual aid. It's going to get rough. It's going to get rougher before it gets easier. It's going to be that food that's going to disappear off the shelves. It's going to be more armed, masked men patrolling our communities with no accountability and no ID. That means it's going to get rough, and we're going to have to figure out how to protect each other and love each other. We can't figure out, we cannot feed into the madness. We cannot feed into that. Right? So now I have an opportunity to, if any of you all have any questions, to answer some of those questions.
Excuse me?
Could I invite you? Yeah. Okay. Is that the mic?
This is the mic for our camera.
Okay.
You can speak into both, please.
So I want to thank again Black Women for Wellness for this very important gathering and for all of the speakers for their work, not just for their words today, but for all of their work. And I want to invite you all tomorrow. We're going to have a community conversation because there are important issues that we need to discuss. Your ideas, your strategies. We heard from our speakers, but what ideas and strategies do you have? I think what happened was unfortunate in terms of the people that were raising issues that really they're off track in terms of the issues that they're talking about. But we do need to have a conversation about, as you said, about how Black people and the Latino community can work together at this time. And so we invite you to join us at the Black Community, Clergy, and Labor Alliance. This is a Black United Front, and our goal is to work together. And so this is a critical issue for our community. We invite you to join us tomorrow, 12 o'clock. We'll have lunch, break bread together, and discuss this critical issue. This has been wonderful. And now let's talk about it. Let's go deeper and talk about the issues that were raised today. I have some flyers, but we're on 48th and 9th, the African American Cultural Center. So again, we invite you to join us, the African American Cultural Center, the Black Community and Clergy Labor Alliance tomorrow at 12. Thank you so much, Jan. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Any other? Oh, I see. Yes, ma'am. Can you? Yeah. You don't have to come up to the mic. That's going to take too long. Can you give us a conversation? Yeah, go ahead.
Right here with the red cord.
Yes.
Okay, you probably can. Because I'm going to talk about it. First of all, I want to say parent power to all the parents that's here on more than just always our community, but knowing that today was big. Today was not, as they said, just a meeting. This attack is not on us. It's not on who you see today. It's on your generations. It's on your generation to generation. It's on the children that have not been born. It's on the children that have not got a chance to go to high school. So what I do say, is I'm from Cadre, again, community access to justice, redefining education. And what I do say, I'm a simple mother that was raised and born in South Central, Watts, way South Central. And what I can say is what was here today, even the guy that slow white, black and brown, that may not came in on time, but it is something that was planted years, centuries ago. But actually, the jobs that brown people are getting is the jobs that we have left. God has blessed us to go to another level from what we've been trying to get on, work hard, have been going to the 70s, 60s, and 50s.
Okay, not a question, but a soliloquy.
None of that. But I say again, parent power, and I say, don't let nobody's voice be unheard. Hear everybody's voice. Even though it's not good, it's the voices that have been shut down like we are. Yes. Let's stand in solidarity with everybody.
Yeah.
Amen.
So I'm going to say, I'm going to go to media, I'm going to go to Sister Charlene, and I'm going to go to you. But I will say that there are some voices that are voices of division. And if you listen to voices of division, they will isolate you and bring you home powerless. So one has to use discernment in the voices that you listen to, in the voices that you let into your head and into your energy. It is absolutely true right now that there will be voices about division. There will be voices that say, you're powerless, you can't do nothing. There are voices that say, I have more power and I'm right. They might not necessarily be the voices you need to listen to. Discernment is key these days. Sister Charlene.
Thank you, Jan. My question is directly for Attorney Nana Dumpty. Greetings to everyone. Thank you all for having this. Attorney Nana, to the question of unity, what are you seeing across the country of BAJI? And that's one. And can you talk about the issues that, although the way was not structured, the conversation, and you see that happening across the country, like not in social media, but real time, the problems, and address the hidden hand and the solution, according to BAJI.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jan.
Oh. Thank you. Thank you, thank you so much, Sister Charlene, and so good to see you. It's been a minute. Thank you so much. So very interesting. As Black immigrants, we are straddling multiple worlds, right? And so we have one world definitely in the world of Black people, and particularly as people who are advocates and who fight for the rights, again, of Black immigrants and African Americans. Most, I introduce myself as the ED of BAJI, but most people in Los Angeles know me as an attorney who has been fighting for Black liberation, specifically for African Americans. Whether it be gang truces, whether it be representing political prisoners like Mutulu Shakur, whether it be being the president of the National Conference of Black Lawyers, the legal arm of the Black Revolution. I've been here, right, working along with us. And at the same time, I'm the daughter of Ghanaian parents. So I've also been in the world of immigration, just growing up, right, and being in the space and seeing what I've seen in terms of how Black immigrants and African Americans experience anti-Blackness together. And then as the ED of BAJI, being in space with other immigrant groups, right, with non-Black Latinos, with non-Black Asians, with indigenous folks, right? And being able to see also in that space, what are the similarities and what are the differences? And here's what I will say. In the conversations that we are having, there is what this administration has done has actually increased the numbers of people who are concerned. It's actually increased the numbers of people who are interested in getting on board and understanding what's happening, and including in African American community, because African Americans know the plaintive cry of mothers having babies torn from their arms. African Americans know what it is to have people disappeared on their way to and from work. And so there is, just as there was at the time of Del Rio, when we saw those looking like white men on horseback whipping Black people, right? There were more than Haitians, with Haitians and other Africans, right? Whipping on Black people. There was a visceral response that we had, regardless of our citizenship. That's what we're seeing now, that we have more people in the Black community, regardless of citizenship, who are understanding exactly what it is that they are seeing.
One transmitter, two receivers.
I think what we're seeing is more emphasis on people recognizing anti-Blackness and recognizing that are outside of the Black community, and recognizing the ways in which anti-Blackness, whether it be within communities or in the ways of policies, how that impacts their own lives, right? And it's important to have that conversation, and those conversations are being had. Some of this division is, here's how I describe it. Thomas Jefferson, we know that he assaulted Sally Hemings. We know that, right? And now what has happened in modern day is Tommy has said, well, I want to assault Maria and Shuli and, Nana too, okay? We are fighting about our assault when we should be trying to deal with Tommy. Hello. Tommy is our problem. And so hopefully that's what people will be hearing and understanding and coming together to understand. Get Tommy.
Yeah. This brother over here.
Hi, Ray Richardson from the Wave newspaper. I got two questions.
Thanks. Ray Richardson from the Wave newspaper. Two quick questions. Based on the Supreme Court decision yesterday that allows the Trump administration to continue this without any recourse and also without due process, how do you respond to that? I mean, how do you deal with that? And secondly, has there been more increased sightings of ICE patrols in the Black community, particularly in Leimert Park? Can you talk about that if that's been evident lately?
Okay. I can speak to the first thing, thank you for your question. The first thing I just really want to, for all of us, just to settle and to understand that hurt that we just witnessed, because it's hurt. Everything that we just witnessed comes from a place of hurt, and it comes from a place of not being seen or recognized. And it is that hurt that Black men, Latino men, all sorts of folks who are our family, and they are part of our family. And that's what got us to this moment too. There's something that we are not recognizing and dealing with, and that's about economic empowerment. It's about the belief that people can actually have a future in this country. where they're not cast aside and marginalized, and where they can't provide what they need to for themselves and their families. So I really need us to understand that we have to see that hurt, to see that the demands, and to really deeply say, how can I stand with you? Because there's something that is not being dealt with in this country. And that's what actually got us this horrible I can't even say it. I'm a Latina, but this tyranny of a president. And so I wanted to say that. The other thing, to more directly to your question. So we have to remember two things. Number one, that this incarceration of our people in these immigration jails, because they're prisons, they're just prisons, it's for profit. So there are companies like Geo and Core Civic who are making millions out of the incarceration of our people. And now some governments like El Salvador, but many others who are saying, I want to get paid too. And I will take your millions and I will take your money in order to incarcerate your people. And so I am very concerned. As of today, there are 59,000 people in these immigration prisons in the United States. That is the largest number of people incarcerated in immigration prisons in the history of this country today. And so what's happening, and I need you to understand this, in this budget bomb that is about to be moved, there's $175 billion that is going to be moved to further incarcerate people and for immigration enforcement. Right now, just to make a difference, right now we have about 29 to $30 billion for all the horribleness that you have seen and what's being paid for the horribleness. So think about $175 billion. So you have to ask yourself with the Supreme Court, where is that money going? And why are and where is it coming from, certainly, but where is it going? And how some of these countries are being forced or being coerced through money to take our people. And I want you to know, we have a list of the people because of their family members who are calling us, asking us, where is my family member? And we can't find so many of these people. And so it's perverse. It is horrible. But I do want you to know, if they do it to immigrant communities the way that they're doing, that the way they're acting and the way they are disappearing our people and incarcerating them, I want you to know it's going to happen to people of all statuses. I've been dealing not just with the immigrant community that's been detained, but with all the U.S. citizens who are standing up, Black and brown, who are documenting, who are standing up for constitutional rights. And we had a young man, Adrian Martinez, who we couldn't find for 2 days in the prison. So I really want to alert everybody as to what is coming. And the attacks on leadership and on a lot of us who are standing up for our rights. I'm very, very concerned. And the Supreme Court decision just tells us that these courts are not standing up for us in the way that they should. They are not standing up for the Constitution. They're standing for one man, and that man is Donald Trump.
So how do you fight this? I mean, how do you respond to this?
Let me say this one more time. And then.
After this, we have one more question.
Okay, we want to finish answering your question also. Has ICE been spotted in Los Angeles, in South Los Angeles? Yes. Okay, just so you know, that is yes. Was it yesterday we were on a phone call and ICE was circling around Community Coalition's office, right? We've seen them around St. Andrew's Park during the Juneteenth festival. So yes, ICE is in this community, right? To the Supreme Court decision allowing other countries to put people in other countries. If you recall, I think Baba Akili talked about African countries being banned. It might have been you. Those countries, as a condition of them not being banned, have been saying, then you must take our prisoners. That's right. So they are wanting to send folks from here to African countries, right? And I think the first place they were showing up was in Sudan.
Right, then they moved them to Djibouti.
Then to Djibouti. Neither one of those countries can afford that. They can't afford it, right? We are hearing now about famine in both of those places. So the fact that this is how they are coercing African countries, and yes, they are in our community.
Okay. Jorge Macias, La Opinión newspaper, the largest Hispanic newspaper in this country. I have two questions. Number one, right now, thousands of families doesn't want to go to the supermarket, to the church, because of the fear of immigration raids. And they are starving, they are hungry. Does the organizations have a plan to help those families as you did it during the COVID-19? That's the first question. And the second one is, what are your plans in the short term, mid-term, or long term? Because we just have half a year of this administration, and this country is in total chaos, and it is a shame that everybody knows that. What are your plans, and what do you think about the people who are suffering because they don't have food so far now?
There are mutual aid programs. There are organizations that are collecting, Inclusive Action, Public Council. There's a number of organizations here that are accepting donations for mutual aid. There's also what's happening in local communities organically, neighbor to neighbor. To the gentleman's question here earlier around how we're also battling this and what's happening locally. There's, Angelica and Kevin spoke about this, about where our men are, where our communities are. There's a sense, a loss of belonging that we have seen in our communities. And people say love conquers all. Think about it. It really, really does. And it needs to at this point, because what we did see was hurt. What we're seeing is pain. And what we're seeing on the opposite side is unwellness. They're just unwell. I don't know how else to describe the hate and where it's coming from. There are belonging programs. There are things that we can do individually to be able to reach out to those folks, because these are the people in our own community that need to feel a sense of belonging. They have clinched to another group, to extreme groups. We have lost them, and we need to bring them back into the fold. And the only way to do that is through love.
I'll let you answer the next one. Yeah, I'm going to go to Gloria. Can you raise your hand?
Are you going to respond to my question?
Yes, I'm going to respond to your question.
And I want to respond.
Okay. Gloria and Laron are doing food deliveries right now. So basically, yes, on Thursdays, we do a food delivery program, right? Here, yes, here. And also at Scope. I don't know Scope's address. 1715 West Lawrence. So we utilize volunteers who will get a bag of groceries and go to people's homes and give them food and do a wellness check. How you doing? Because we learned some lessons during COVID for sure. And some of those are when people are sheltering in place, then sometimes the domestic violence goes up, sometimes the mental health becomes exaggerated. So with that food delivery, and with the food delivery, we're also talking diapers and soap and that type of thing, because people need feminine hygiene products also, that we do that wellness check. You doing okay? How you doing? What else do you need in addition to the food? So those are going on. They're going on weekly at this point. And what was your second question? What's the horizon?
Last, short term, mid-term, or long term? Because we have just 5 months with it.
Yeah, it's been a crazy 5 months for sure.
Immediately we stop the raids, pull out the military from Los Angeles. This is a military style occupation of LA. We need the occupation. We need this occupation to end. We need the raids to stop. This is what we need to do now. Because if we don't do that now, we don't have any future for our families. The other very important piece where you talk about the medium term, well, it's about building, this is what we're talking about, building solidarity, la solidaridad. Because we got to build the solidarity to build our power. It's about community power. You know, it's the village is going to save the village, el pueblo salva al pueblo. It is what is being said all across every community that has been hit. And so we have to be dependent here and on all our elected representatives that actually are willing to have the courage to stand with us. And we have to uplift our people that actually have been detained. They're not numbers. They are not They're not just numbers. They are people, they are fathers, they are mothers, and so we have to tell their story. But one of the last things that I really want to say to you, there are 13 million people who are undocumented in this country. Here in Los Angeles, 1 million people who don't have legal recognition, who are not seen as people, and who because they don't have legal recognition, can be treated as horribly as they're being treated now. So in the long term, we need immigration reform. We need legalization of our people. We need to live free in this country. Can't be millions of us without papers in this country. You know, so that we need to
hiding
find.
in plain sight.
Yeah.
And one of the benefits that I have is more than 50 years of doing this. And that has given me at least an understanding that if you start by bringing people together with resistance first, acceptance second, and willingness to be in solidarity third, you can move forward. I've seen it. I've been a part of it. And this is the first step. And one of the things we say in Black Lives Matters is, who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
We keep us safe. And so the question that I hear a lot about how frightened people are, and yes, they are, but I also have seen people in the streets taking pictures and running ICE out.
Right.
So those victories, and some of us are not going to picket or be on the front lines, but some of us will take a picture. Some of us will say, no, not in my neighborhood. And that's how movements get built. We can build it. We have to sustain it. And you said that this is the first 6 months. We got a long way to go. But
we got a long way to go in a short time.
In a short time. But what we have is a clear image and example of what we are up against.
Yes.
We wanted not to accept it. We wanted not to believe it. We wanted to think that this is just another president. No, this is a person who is a fascist and a white supremacist. Now, we've had both before, but we haven't had them together. And so now we know that there's a saying in the struggle, if you can measure your enemy, you can defeat him. We know now what the enemy, we knew all along, but we didn't want to believe it. And I've seen that before because we have this aspiration that, well, if we can just talk this out, we can make this work. No, they're about ideology. They're about power and dominance. We have to be about building power, fighting back, and resisting.
Can I say one thing? Sorry.
You can say one thing. I'm gonna, and then we're gonna wrap this up because we have other work to do for real.
Exactly.
But the
Go
thing I wanted to say is, Donald Trump is a figurehead. You got to look at the unseen hand.